After 4 years of battling an administration that has ignored climate change, disregarded science, and repealed environmental regulations, our planet hangs in the balance. We face unprecedented threats to our climate and biodiversity. In Alaska, this has meant devastating wildfires, intensifying heat waves, disappearing sea ice, and thawing permafrost threatening communities and wildlife across the state. But now is the time to look forward. Now is our chance to act on climate, to increase protections for our nation's public lands, to fight for clean air and clean water, and to address environmental justice. And Alaska's public lands and waters, its intact ecosystems, unique biodiversity, and thriving indigenous cultures are key to this hopeful future.
Is it true that you have Anwar in the bill? I said, I don't know. Who cares? What is that?
After standing up to Trump for 4 long years, Alaska Wilderness League is prepared to do what it takes to restore protections for the sacred caribou calving grounds in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, to restore protections for America's threatened polar bears and their denning grounds on Alaska's coastal plain, and to restore protections in the Tongass National Forest, the Western Arctic, and Bristol Bay. And in doing so, not only will we protect land and wildlife, but work hand in hand with the indigenous peoples that depend on these resources for their food security and way of life.
We love the work that Alaska Wilderness does and the dedication that they have to keeping these wild places wild and these fragile ecosystems healthy.
When I think about the Arctic Refuge, I think about a place that still retains ecological and cultural diversity unlike anywhere else in the world.
There are people there that rely on these ecosystems and animals, and that we have a responsibility as thinking, caring, compassionate human beings to protect that place.
The time is now for us to take a fierce, unwavering stand to defend and protect the Arctic from oil and gas drilling. We need to be accountable and in solidarity with the communities whose livelihoods have depended upon the well-being of this land for thousands of years.
I love a lot of things about AWL, but the one thing that was important for me and why I joined AWL's board is for their legal and strategic values and vision and how they carry out their work. As a former lobbyist and attorney, I truly believe in AWL's way that they get their work done through the congressional lens and through on-the-ground work.
Alaska Wilderness League is a really important organization that has been a very key ally to the Gwich'in Nation on protecting the Arctic Refuge, and we greatly appreciate them. I'm very proud to be board secretary of the Alaska Wilderness League and appreciate that Gwich'in voices are being included in decisions on protection. And there's a lot that everyone can do to participate in the protection of the refuge. And, of course, donations to the organizations that are doing this work, such as Alaska Wilderness League, sharing our messages on your social media, writing letters to your representatives, and, even at this point, writing letters to the Biden team on next steps to protect the refuge under his administration. So I just want to say thank you all for tuning in and for participating, and stay healthy during this pandemic. And I greatly appreciate all the support for protecting the Arctic Refuge and standing with the Gwich'in. Masi.
Alaska is home to many of the wildest and most spectacular places left on Earth. Towering mountain peaks and glaciers, old-growth forests, pristine tundra, rivers and wetlands. Nowhere else in America is home to such diverse and abundant fish and wildlife. Vast herds of free-roaming caribou, musk oxen, polar and brown bears, and millions of birds that nest in Alaska before traveling to every state and 6 of 7 continents. Now is the time to look ahead, roll up our collective sleeves and do the hard work to organise and advocate for the legacy we hope to leave future generations. Joe Biden is promising to protect the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge.
Just a quick question about how you feel about drilling in the Arctic Refuge.
Totally opposed to it. Completely, totally
Excellent.
opposed to it. Now, the Arctic Circle is a disaster to do that.